Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dan. I just wanted to give you an update because I've shown you all the Apollo patches. Now I decided to continue. If you like museums, there are some things you could do. Let me show you a few that you could do. For yourself, of course. And now, here we go. Oh, a flashlight might be good. Anyway, if you want to follow up on my patch video, what you do with the Apollo patches is you look at the Apollo 1 patch. That's at the Langley Center base. I believe that's at the Langley facility. Very hard to get access to if you ever want to go there. I certainly don't. I don't want to see the burnt inside of a spacecraft. Okay, also, now let's get to a more positive note here. Apollo 7 is at the National Museum of Science in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Okay, Apollo 8 is at the Museum of Science and Industry. That's here in Chicago, Illinois. I touched that thing. And when you put your hand on that spacecraft, you know it's been somewhere. I'll explain more about that later. But now, Apollo 9 is at the Michigan Space and Science Center in Jackson, Michigan. Apollo 10 is at the Science Museum in London, England. Apollo 11 is at the National Air and Space Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. Apollo 12 is at the Air and Space Museum in Hampton, Virginia. Apollo 13 in Kansas at the Cosmosphere in Hutchinson, Kansas. Now, Apollo 14 is at the Astronauts Hall of Fame in Tudorville, Florida. Now, Apollo 15 is at the USAF Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. Apollo 16 is at the U.S. Space Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Apollo 17 is at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. The LBJ Center, I call it. Now, let me show you a little model here. Here, we can look at that model here. This is what you'll see. Imagine this thing, when you see it, it's going to be 8 feet tall, 12 feet across, and then you get to see the inside of the spacecraft, and that looks perfect. And it's not shiny anymore because this thing is coming in at 6.5 degrees. Comes in at 7. Forget it. It's done. It's a 10-ton object. And if it comes in wrong that way, the crew dies that way. It never did. And then if it comes in at 5.5 degrees, it just skips out of the atmosphere and never comes home. But I told you the locations of where you can go to see these things, no matter where you are in the world. Now, another thing I can show you, if I put this closer to the camera, is, how do we do this? Okay. Yeah, show them the inside of the spacecraft. You can see where the astronauts sit. This looks like the point at which they would have the 3 gimbals. This looks like, oh, those are the thruster pods at the bottom there. Yeah, but I don't know if you get to see all that. They usually take the hatch off, and you can just look at the spacecraft yourself. And these things are wonderful. If you live anywhere near one of these things, those museums that I've mentioned, go see it. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend, folks. Thank you.